Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. In what has become one of the most compelling storylines of the NFL offseason, Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin finds himself at the center of a negotiation tug-of-war that may define both his future and the immediate trajectory of the team. McLaurin, a model of consistency since entering the league in 2019, is now aiming to leap into the elite tier of NFL receivers making $30 million per year. His aspirations are not without precedent. Fellow 2019 draftees DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown have already climbed into that salary echelon, thanks in part to their youth and explosive production. McLaurin, however, faces a unique set of circumstances, not the least of which is his age. He's entering his age 30 season. That single fact, more than anything, seems to be giving Washington pause as they evaluate whether to invest premium dollars into a player who's been reliable but is approaching the other side of his athletic prime. Despite questions about his current ankle injury, McLaurin reported to training camp and was promptly placed on the active PUP list. That move has raised eyebrows, with some insiders suggesting that the injury may be more strategic than physical. A way for McLaurin to participate in team activities while avoiding full practice reps amid ongoing contract talks. It's a tactic we've seen employed more frequently in recent years, especially by high-profile players looking to secure long-term financial security without risking injury. The shift from outright holdouts to so-called hold-ins, where players report but refrain from practicing, is now a staple of NFL contract disputes. For McLaurin, this may be his final opportunity to land a massive payday. That urgency is likely influencing every aspect of his negotiation, from structure to guarantees to annual average value. But if Washington isn't willing to reach that $30 million threshold, a standoff could be inevitable. Historically, McLaurin has been the kind of player teams dream of building around. Drafted in the third round out of Ohio State, he quickly proved he was one of the biggest steals of the 2019 class. His production has been nothing short of remarkable, especially given the revolving door of quarterbacks he's played with in Washington. Still, his current deal, a 3-year $69.6 million extension signed in 2022, is quickly becoming outdated in today's receiver market. That deal once seemed like a significant win for McLaurin and the Commanders, but as the wide receiver pay scale has exploded, McLaurin's average annual salary now ranks just 17th at the position. That's well behind younger receivers who have posted similar or even less consistent production. For McLaurin, this isn't just about money, it's about respect, recognition, and security heading into his 30s. One major issue complicating negotiations is the Commanders' newfound flexibility under the rookie contract of quarterback Jaden Daniels. With Daniels on a cost-controlled deal for the foreseeable future, the team theoretically has the cap room to absorb a lucrative McLaurin extension without jeopardizing future roster construction. However, new GM Adam Peters, known for his work with the 49ers, seems hesitant to commit top-tier money to a receiver approaching 30. While Peters did help negotiate Deebo Samuel's deal in San Francisco, that contract eventually soured, culminating in Samuel being shipped to Washington this offseason. That experience could be coloring Peters' current stance with McLaurin. From his perspective, overpaying now for a player who may soon decline could mirror the Samuel situation. But from McLaurin's side, he's proven more consistent than either Samuel or even Brandon Ayuk, and he's been the heart of Washington's offense. There's also the broader context of the 2024 offseason, which has seen a rapid expansion of the $30 million per year club at wide receiver. Players like Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, and even DK Metcalf have reset the market, pushing salaries into new territory. The Commanders must now decide whether McLaurin belongs in that elite company. Critics might argue that he lacks the highlight reel explosiveness of some of those younger stars, but supporters will point to his 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons a testament to durability and skill, especially given his quarterback situations. Additionally, players like Courtland Sutton and Calvin Ridley, both comparable in age and arguably less productive, have signed deals in the $20 to $23 million range. McLaurin's camp is using those deals as the baseline, not the ceiling. They believe he deserves more, and it's not hard to understand why given his resume. So where do things go from here? According to Sportskeeda's Tony Pauline, a short-term extension is still likely, but the major obstacle remains the Commanders' unwillingness to cross that $30 million per year mark. It's not just a matter of pride or principle, it's about precedent. If they meet McLaurin's price, it may open the floodgates for future negotiations with other stars. But if they draw a hard line, they risk alienating their most respected offensive leader. The challenge for Washington is balancing fiscal responsibility with locker room morale and on-field production. The entire offense could hinge on McLaurin's presence this season, especially with a rookie quarterback who will need reliable targets. Letting negotiations drag out risks creating distractions while delaying the inevitable decision to pay or walk away. McLaurin himself has expressed frustration with how talks have played out, signaling publicly that he feels underappreciated. That adds another layer of tension to the situation. For a player who has done everything right, from his performance to his leadership, to feel slighted by his own team could have ripple effects in the locker room. Teammates notice how veterans are treated, especially those with a track record of excellence. If McLaurin ends up playing this season under his current contract while others around the league rake in new deals, it may impact not just his own performance but also the locker room culture. The Commanders are entering a new era under Peters and head coach Dan Quinn, and how they handle this negotiation will send a strong message about how they value their foundational players. There's also the possibility that the team sees this negotiation as part of a larger philosophical shift. The NFL is a young man's league, and investing heavily in players entering their 30s is increasingly viewed as risky. While that's understandable, it ignores the fact that wide receivers, unlike running backs, often maintain productivity into their early 30s, especially those who rely more on route running and intelligence than pure athleticism. McLaurin fits that mold perfectly. He's not just a burner, he's a technician. If any 30-year-old receiver is worth betting on, it's him. Ignoring that, reality in favor of strict age metrics would be short-sighted. The Commanders have a rare opportunity to pair a high IQ rookie quarterback with a veteran mentor who still has plenty left in the tank. It's a pairing that could pay massive dividends if they can agree on the price. Ultimately, the question becomes one of valuation versus vision. Is Terry McLaurin worth $30 million per year based solely on what he's done? Maybe not. But when you factor in what he means to this offense, this team, and this city, the value becomes harder to quantify in strict monetary terms. He's the face of the franchise in many ways, a symbol of professionalism in an organization that has often lacked it. His presence alone raises the floor for Jaden Daniels and this young offense. Letting negotiations sour or stall sends the wrong message at the wrong time. The Commanders are on the verge of turning the page on years of mediocrity and dysfunction. Keeping McLaurin happy and on the field could be the most important move they make this offseason. And yet this remains the NFL, a business above all else. Sentiment only goes so far when front offices crunch the numbers and assess risk. If Adam Peters believes the market has overvalued receivers or that McLaurin's best days are behind him, he may stand firm. But that gamble could backfire. Frustrating your top offensive weapon just as you break in a rookie quarterback is a risky move. Time is running out to get this deal done before the season begins. The longer this saga drags on, the more distractions it invites. For the Commanders, the path forward is clear. Either reward McLaurin for years of elite play and loyalty, or prepare to face the consequences of letting a cornerstone walk away, possibly to a team that sees what Washington no longer does. Yeah. You're enjoying the coverage. Make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Rumors are heating up in the NFL landscape, and this time, all eyes are on Washington. According to sources close to the league and a few whispers making their rounds behind the scenes, the Washington Commanders might be eyeing a potential blockbuster. Move! The buzz, interest in none other than Chris Jones, the dominant defensive tackle who helped the Kansas City Chiefs secure multiple Super Bowl titles. While nothing is official yet, the speculation has been gaining momentum over the past week. Chris Jones, known for his explosive power, disruptive presence in the trenches, and veteran leadership, would bring an entirely new dimension to the Commanders' defensive line. Washington has long sought to reestablish its identity, particularly on defense, and the acquisition of a player like Jones could signal a major philosophical shift. Could this be the move that changes everything for the Commanders? Fans are beginning to dream. The league is beginning to listen. Chris Jones is no stranger to high-stakes football. His time with the Kansas City Chiefs has been defined by dominance, consistency, and a knack for showing up when it matters most. With multiple Pro Bowl appearances and All-Pro selections under his belt, Jones is widely regarded as one of the premier interior defensive linemen in the NFL. But as the Chiefs juggle financial decisions, looming contracts, and a desire to stay competitive without overextending, there's growing speculation that they might be willing to listen to offers. That's where the Commanders come in. After a disappointing stretch in recent seasons, Washington's front office is reportedly eager to make a splash, and landing a player of Jones's caliber would undoubtedly shake up the league. Whether it's through a trade or free agency, signing if he becomes available, insiders suggest Washington is preparing to make a serious run at him. What makes this potential move so intriguing is not just the star power of Chris Jones, but how perfectly he fits what the Commanders are building. Under new ownership and with a coaching staff that's emphasizing toughness, discipline, and impact plays on defense, Jones could serve as the anchor for a unit with immense potential. He's the kind of player who commands double teams, eats up space, and creates opportunities for those around him. Washington has young talent on its roster, but it has struggled with consistency and identity. Bringing in a leader like Jones could change that narrative overnight. Imagine a defensive front with Jones leading the charge. Quarterbacks in the NFC East would be losing sleep. Of course, for now, it's all rumor, but the mere fact that these whispers are growing louder suggests there might be more to it than just smoke. And where there's smoke in the NFL, there's often fire. Cap space is always a factor. And this situation is no different. Chris Jones would come with a hefty price tag, but Washington is in a financial position to make a move, if they truly want to. With several key contracts coming off the books and a young quarterback still on a rookie deal, the Commanders have some flexibility. The real question is whether they're willing to go all in. Jones would not only be a splashy addition, but a statement of intent. It would tell the league, the fans, and the players in the locker room that Washington is tired of rebuilding. They're ready to compete. And let's be honest, this fan base deserves something to get excited about. After years of turmoil, mediocrity, and front office dysfunction, adding a proven winner like Jones could be the first domino in a much-needed cultural shift. It wouldn't just be a roster move, it would be a redefinition. Some insiders even believe that initial conversations have already taken place, quietly of course. In the NFL, very few moves happen without months of groundwork being laid behind the scenes. And if the Commanders are truly in on Jones, there's a good chance preliminary calls have been made, whether to gauge interest, ask about availability, or prepare for a post-Chiefs future. Remember, this is a league built on calculated risks and strategic aggression. Washington is in a position where it needs to be bold, and few moves would be bolder than bringing in one of the league's best defenders. Chris Jones is not just a run stuffer or pass rusher, he's a tone setter. He changes the way teams game plan. If Washington can pair him with the right surrounding pieces, they could go from an afterthought to a problem real quick. It's a scenario worth watching closely. Another layer to this story is what it would mean for the locker room. Jones is known not just for his play on the field, but for his voice and presence off it. He's a fiery competitor, but also a respected leader who holds teammates accountable. Washington's defense has lacked that alpha presence since the departure of some of its top veterans. While there's young potential throughout the roster, there's also a need for someone who's been to the top and knows what it takes to get there again. Jones could bring that mentality in spades. Imagine his influence on a rising defensive star, or how he could help galvanize a unit looking for an identity. These intangibles matter just as much as the stat sheets. When you're trying to change a culture, which the Commanders clearly are, bringing in a proven winner can speed up the process like nothing else. But what would it take to land Chris Jones? That's the million-dollar question. Would it require draft picks, a player in return, or are the Chiefs genuinely open to letting him walk to free up future cap space? No one knows for sure, but the Commanders are one of the few teams in a position to offer both draft capital and financial flexibility. It might take a first-round pick or perhaps a pair of day 2 selections. That's the price of doing business when you're chasing elite talent. For Washington, the calculation is simple. Is the short-term impact of Jones worth the long-term assets they give up? In a division that features high-powered offenses like the Cowboys and Eagles, the answer could very well be yes. The Commanders have been playing it safe for years, perhaps too safe. Maybe it's time they finally go big. The Chiefs, meanwhile, are dealing with their own internal pressure. Keeping a championship window open while managing the salary cap is a delicate dance. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and a stable of younger players are all critical to their ongoing success, and paying Jones top dollar might limit what they can do elsewhere. That doesn't mean they want to lose him, far from it. But the NFL is a business, and sometimes hard decisions have to be made. If Kansas City believes they can replace Jones's production by committee or through the draft, they might decide to make a tough call. And if that door cracks open even slightly, Washington appears ready to pounce. The Commanders know they're not just bidding for a player. They're bidding for credibility, for momentum, and for the respect they've been chasing for years. It's also worth considering how the media and fan reaction could influence this potential deal. Washington is a passionate football city that's been starving for a return to relevance. Bringing in a superstar like Jones would electrify the fan base and dominate headlines for weeks. Jersey sales would spike, season ticket interest would surge. Suddenly, a team that's been largely overlooked would be in the spotlight, and the players would feel it too. There's something about a high-profile addition that energizes an entire locker room. And if the Commanders are serious about changing their image from one of dysfunction to one of ambition, then Chris Jones could be the face of that change. It's not just a football decision, it's a branding decision, a PR decision, and a morale decision. One move could turn Washington into one of the most intriguing teams heading into the season. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. This could all amount to noise, another offseason rumor that fades into obscurity. But the signs are there. The alignment of cap space, team needs, leadership overhaul, and a potential window of opportunity with Jones all point toward a real possibility. And when you combine that with the buzz from insiders and growing fan speculation, it starts to feel like something more than idle chatter. The Commanders might finally be ready to stop rebuilding and start reloading. Chris Jones could be the catalyst for that shift. Will it happen? Only time will tell. But for now, fans can dream. And sometimes in the NFL, dreams start with whisper. This one is getting louder by the day, and Washington may just be bold enough to make it real. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.